We all know that the cost of beef outside of the holiday summer months tends to be pretty expensive. It's actually the biggest objection people have to low carb diets or the carnivore diet itself. People object because it's expensive, or so they say. And in another video, I demonstrated that it really isn't. If you go carnivore, you're not really buying much, if anything, of that other stuff. It frees up a lot of your money. But we're aware that the cost of beef is going up in general, and we are told to expect the cost of beef to go up in the fall and in the winter for a variety of reasons, some of which are frankly speculation on the part of some people, potential for food shortages and that kind of thing. But there are other very real reasons to expect food to go up, the price of beef specifically to go up, and related animals as well. There's apparently a shortage of lean hogs now, which is great. That means your pork prices will go up, which means your bacon will probably get more expensive. And if you are like me, enjoy a little other pork products from time to time, that cost will go up as well. We can expect in the coming months to see lamb and other animal products go up in price as well because feed is going up in price. Some of that has to do with fertilizer shortages, but others have to do with executive actions taken by the White House now. It was announced yesterday or the day before from when I'm recording this that the government is going to fast track its green renewable energy program, and that's fine, I guess. But one of the things that's going to do is create greater strain on the biodiesel supply. And why is that important? Because biodiesel and ethanol come from plants, hence why it's called biodiesel. Soybeans go into the production of these fuels, so do corn and some other things. If those grains and beans sound familiar to you, they should. They're also in a lot of the industrial cattle production, grain feeding. So the cost of feed is going up this fall and winter as well. We have an article here. I won't go over too detail here, but it's from agriculture.com, and they give you this headline: supply demand for live cattle to turn bullish, decline in lean hogs positive fundamental factor. So it's from a few weeks ago, but the supply in lean hogs being down is causing the demand for the supply of live cattle to get what they're calling bullish. Bullish, remember, this is from the perspective of people who make their living selling cattle. Bullish in this case means you're going to get a better price for your cattle. It means that the supply is getting strained just a little bit because there's more demand for it. What will that translate to? Well, if you're buying your beef from the big box stores like Walmart or Kroger, it may not mean much, but if you're buying it from anywhere else, any other grocery store, you might see a price increase. It's just because there are fewer of these cattle around. And this is after we've heard reports of some cattle being culled by farmers because of the looming shortage of feed, that they decided that they would just downsize their herds so that they could then have, make it through the winter, and then they can rebuild from there. And I mean, it's a logical thing, but it has down market effects. So what should we expect? We should expect to see higher prices for beef. And this is not counting even external factors. So, for example, we know that Dutch, Canada, and some other places are now limiting nitrogen output. They're doing this for environmental reasons, and we are seeing this affects cattle production. So what does that mean? Well, you're probably going to see a demand increase for American beef from overseas. That means exporting of American beef. That means your prices will go up, especially because it takes a while for, these are animals that take time to grow, 2 years often for a cow to grow to full size. It means you actually have to have time to rebuild your herds, which also means that your prices are going to go up if the large beef combines start selling some of this beef overseas to Europe. Now, I know there are barriers to American beef going to Europe, Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease concerns and things of that nature. Well, guess what? Those will probably go down as the demand there increases. Those governments have to respond to the pressure from their public, just like politicians anywhere, at least in theory, given how things are in my country these days. But in general, you will probably see some prices of beef go up. So instead of just being bad news, what does that mean for you? What is your strategy? Your strategy should be: get to know your cattle producer, get to know your local rancher, get to know some of those online places to buy beef from. Branch out a little bit, try lamb, I have no deal with Billy Doe Meats. They did not sponsor this video. I will tell you, as lamb goes, the best lamb I've had is from Billy Doe Meats. It's the one that has their lamb does not have that strong flavor we associate with lamb because of how they produce their lamb. It tastes like a milder beef, actually. Now, when you cook it, it does produce that smell, but it doesn't really have much of that flavor. And I know because I just had some lamb bacon a couple days ago from them. Branch out to lamb. It's as nutritious as beef, or pretty close anyway. Yes, you can get really fatty cuts. The rack of lamb is pretty fatty. Any animal's ribs are going to be pretty fatty compared to the rest of the animal. But branch out. Get to know your local rancher. Really emphasize on that tribe part of carnivore tribe. Keep hitting on this. But one of the reasons we have so much problems, I think, in the carnivore community and other things is that really the sense of community is kind of lacking. And you see that a lot in online groups where you see people actively sabotaging other people coming in and saying, I need to know how to do the carnivore diet. And they start telling them to go, eat things that are clearly not carnivore. It's active sabotage. We've got to really rein this stuff in, really emphasize this community part because, in most places you can find local cattle producers. And in some parts of the country, things are more expensive than in others. Around me, beef wholesale goes for $4.50 a pound from your local rancher, give or take. On the West Coast, I think I saw Dr. Baker on his own channel talking about this, saying $7 a pound or $6 a pound is what he paid for a grass-fed, grass-finished beef that was a whole cow raised up in Seattle, in the Seattle area. Different quality cow, $1.50 more per pound, and when you're talking, 3,000 pounds of beef, or 1,500 pounds of beef, you're paying, $2,000 extra for that cow than I did. But this, to save the money, you're going to need to learn. You're probably going to want to at least be aware of where you can buy beef from alternative sources, or at the very least, shop sales. Know when the markdowns go out at your store. Get to know the ads. I've got all videos on this stuff, so you should go check out the back catalog on that stuff. Anyway, I'm curious what you think about the prospects for beef going up in price in the coming months. What do you think some of the factors are that's causing this? If you think this is all just sort of innocent things happening as a more or less consequence of, geopolitical events going on, or if there's something else going on. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. It really does help. And thanks for watching today.